week's edition of Centennial Sports TV. The Canadian Heroes coming back and chilling at the ACC.
It's fight night at the ACC as UFC 152 goes off Saturday night.
And here comes the wheelchair rally, and they're gonna roll us right into our introduction.
Welcome to Centennial Sports TV. I'm Dane.
I'm Tom Rominski.
And you know what? It's Loose Tie Tuesday.
And you know what? Our producer Travis told us we couldn't do it. We're gonna do it anyways because we're like that.
Speaking of talent, every 2 years Canadian Olympians unite this great nation. Their performance in London was no exception. Canadians got a chance to show their appreciation at the Olympic Parade this past weekend in Toronto.
In a few moments, we will see most of Team Canada coming right through here, and we will be celebrating our Canadian Olympic athletes. How's that badminton game?
It was amazing here in Toronto, and it was awesome. We were clapping hands with everyone and just cheering, and they were screaming at me, and I was screaming back at them.
It's amazing. I mean, it's incredible. There's so many people. People are happy. The energy's there. The support is just incredible.
We've never had a welcome home like this before, so it's awesome.
Amazing, you know, to have all these caring people who are, you know, excited about us coming back to the games with a medal. You know, it's touching.
This is unbelievable. When they said we were going to do a parade, I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. A couple hundred people show up, but the streets are like jammed. So honestly, like overwhelming. I had no idea that we were going to get this kind of fan support. Just like going in and around the streets here, it's like a dream come true.
But it is crazy. I mean, we're coming down. You see the little girls crying, and they're screaming. I mean, you can't help but cry, right? And then you have people in the office banging on the windows. It's like everybody wants to see and be a part of it. It's priceless moments.
But to be able to come back to this and get excited again about the Olympics and have all the support is pretty fantastic.
This is we need to connect Canadians with the Olympians and the community and the kids. And so
for us, like when you're over in London competing, there's a lot of fans for everyone there, and we heard there was a lot of excitement in Canada, but we weren't here when the games were going on. So for us to get to come home and see how much support and how excited people are is really special.
They had no idea how many people were going to be seeing it here, and they just come out in the thousands or tens of thousands. Everybody to come out and support us has just been phenomenal.
Incredible. It feels amazing. So many cheers and excited young faces, and I'm thrilled that it's mostly kids because it just means that the inspiration cycle is working.
To see everyone come out and celebrate the Olympic movement and the Olympic athletes today was so special.
Canada's heroes were officially welcomed home at the Canadian Olympic Hall of Fame Gala Dinner. The athletes wined and dined all night long alongside some prestigious company as the Governor General himself, David Johnston, and his wife were in attendance to celebrate the country's achievements in London.
Behind me is the red carpet where many athletes have already walked through. They will be inducted into the Canadian Olympic Hall of Fame as a class of 2012.
It was the first ever Welcome Home Olympic parade filled with cheering and autograph signings for Canada's London 2012 Olympic team. Now, tonight, here at the ACC, it's glitz and glam and a celebration of excellence. The ceremony began with the singing of the Canadian Olympic song, I Believe, followed by the national anthem. There was a special tribute to freestyle skier Sarah Burke to commemorate her life and sport. Her family was there to accept her award, and the COC also announced that there will be a women's superpipe skiing event in Sochi 2014.
A team of destiny, redemption, and gold.
Ladies and gentlemen, the gold medal-winning 2010 men's Olympic hockey team. They are represented by team captain
Scott Niedermeyer, goalie Roberto Luongo, and my former Director of Hockey Development and Executive Vice President of Hockey Operations for Hockey Canada, Johnny Misley, the men's 2010 gold medal hockey team.
After many hours of performances by Canadian musicians and an exciting performance by Toronto's Cirque du Soleil Amaluna, the 2010 men's ice hockey team was last to be inducted of the 6 athletes and 2 teams entering the Canadian Olympic Hall of Fame. For CSTV, I'm Adrian Carnevale.
For many Canadian sports fans, the 1972 Summit Series between Russia and Canada is the most cherished sports memory, with Paul Henderson's golden goal being the cherry on top of the cake. CSTV's Morgan Bell caught up with some members of the historic series at the Carnegie's Centennial Center.
It's a goal I'll never forget. It's the series I'll never forget. It's the highlight of my career. I think it would be the highlight of anybody's career. And it just has great memories, and it continues to grow.
Even though it was 40 years ago that Paul Henderson scored that iconic goal for Team Canada, hockey fans young and old came out to celebrate the anniversary of the Summit Series.
I'm an old-timer, and I was 15 at the time. Our school stopped all classes. We all gathered into the cafeteria, and we all gathered around a screen about this large on a stand, and it was black and white, and you know, it was just the sign of the times.
It wasn't only Canadians out for the celebration, as many Russian fans also took some time to reflect on the series.
And we loved our team, especially Alexander Yakushev, who scored like about the same amount of goals that Phil Esposito did and Paul Henderson did. It was pity to see Tretiak lose the game, lose this goal, you know, passing the goal. But there's nothing we could do that time.
Even the city councillor who organized the event attended Game 1 of the series and was excited to share it with his community.
Well, this is spectacular because in our community we have the highest concentration of Russian-speaking members in Toronto, and they are just as thrilled about an event like this. It's great exercise. It's great athletics. We recognize our hockey heroes. I think it's important for us all to come together like that.
1972 was something that defined Canada, continues to define us as a country, and we're so pleased as a team that Canadians remember us. It's something that we did for our country. We were happy to do it, and it just continues to pay back and pay back and pay back.
Oh, Canada. Whoa. We're live. Oh, sorry, guys. Coming up, we got a special in-studio guest, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that one.
Come back soon, boys and girls.
Just can't stay focused. God.
Hey, I think I have something for you, men.
What's that?
Hey, you know what? Chocolate milk actually not only helps sustain your body, but it also increases mental activity in times of stress. This might really help you out, buddy.
Thanks.
No problem. Have a good one.
You too. Get it.
Welcome back. I'm still Dane, he's still Tom, and this is still Centennial Sports TV. The NFL replacement refs continue to frustrate players and coaches alike. The issue was raised again following the Broncos' loss to the Falcons last week. Broncos coach John Fox and his staff have been fined by the league for arguing calls. One particular call saw the Falcons recover a fumble despite the fact East York native and Broncos offensive lineman Orlando Franklin clearly had possession of the ball. Games throughout the league feature numerous controversial calls, including game-ending decisions that went against powerhouses like Green Bay and New England. With two of the NFL marquee teams directly affected, will this force the league to settle with the regular refs? Stay tuned.
Who will crack first, the NFL or the referees? Well, after last night's debacle in Seattle, I think we might know who it might be. Roger Goodell. What still remains cloudy, however, is that the situation is not getting better. However, Matt Parker is here to chime in and crack you up and share his thoughts on the matter.
We've now finished the third week of replacement referees in the NFL, and by all accounts, their performance has been nothing short of piss poor. They've been slow, indecisive, inept, and simply unqualified for the job. To the players, these refs are like substitute teachers. They know they can get away with anything. The scabs just want to pretend like they know what they're doing, plug the holes long enough for them to go back home to Brockway, Ogdenville, or North Haverbrook and teach Timmy and Tammy Q American trailer park geography, armed with the tale of how they once shared the field with fantasy football heroes Mark Sanchez and Kevin Ogletree. Now, some replacements have embarrassed themselves even without blowing a whistle. One was yanked hours before the Week 2 New Orleans-Carolina game because his Facebook page revealed his secret man love for the Saints. For a $9 billion industry, this has become a farce of XFL proportions. In fact, when the real Zebra signed the new deal, it would be fitting if Vince McMahon strutted out to the 50, grabbed a microphone, and said to the imposters, "Yeah!" Now, to me, this just seems like an obvious attention-grabbing ploy by the ginger assassin Roger Goodell. The NFL has allowed griping about the officials to become the #1 topic of conversation, a rare misstep for the usually public relations savvy league. I mean, why drag your name through the mud just to prove a point? Now, aside from the expected pay increase, what's keeping these two sides at a labor impasse are the referees' demands for better pension benefits. No one really expects this mess to come to a conclusion anytime soon, so we can look forward to players and coaches to continue handing out tongue lashings like condoms at the Olympic Village. But in the end, the likes of Ed Hockley's massive pipes and Mike Carey's elegant duster will grace our replay booths once again. And we can all relax until they screw something up. Stupid referees.
You know what sucks, Dane?
$13 beers at the Rogers Center, Avril Lavigne, Nickelback, Avril Lavigne and Nickelback.
Sorry, I have to interject there. Actually, it's when two sides' stubbornness prevents a sport from being played.
Yeah, you're right. That sucks too, yeah.
You know what's worse?
The fact that Avril Lavigne and Chad Kroeger are now married.
I got to stop you there. No, actually what's worse is that I'm not talking about the NHL lockout. In fact, I'm actually talking about the high school lockout and how it's affecting students.
All right. I think we sent someone out to Eastern Commerce Collegiate to cover that.
I think you're right. Who may it be? Oh, wait, it was me. Check it out. Educators across the great city of Toronto are boycotting extracurricular activities as a result of the provincial government's latest dispute with the teachers' union. At the heart of the matter, teachers are concerned about a lack of sick days, a tier wage freeze, and little power over labor disputes. When reached for comment, the Toronto District School Board said that none of their employees are allowed to comment on the issues at hand. However, students are.
Disappointing.
So I'd have to say blasphemy.
Unfair and unjust.
Powerful words from a group of frustrated youth who seek answers from their peers and yearn to once again run free on these now ghostly fields. How do you react when you hear something like this is going on in our city?
I feel like someone's doing something wrong because sports should never be taken away. It's it's a way to express yourself, I guess, for some kids, and it's just wrong.
What's it been like so far this year, knowing that extracurricular sports aren't going on in the school?
Sort of annoying, to be honest, because I was looking forward to that.
Any explanations given by any of your teachers about why this might be happening? Not really. So you feel like not really informed, eh?
I really need more.
While the battle continues to rage on between the Toronto District School Board and the teachers' union, it is the kids who ultimately suffer most. For Centennial Sports TV, I'm Tom Rominski.
Now to a fight of a different kind. UFC 152 went down Saturday night to a packed Air Canada Centre, and the UFC crowd is always amped, testosterone-filled men, usually into a few beverages, watching two supreme athletes fight each other in very tight shorts. Naturally, we sent Carson Mundy to blend in with the surroundings.
After the highly publicized cancellation of UFC 151 in Las Vegas, Toronto might have been the biggest beneficiary, as they now have a stacked card with 2 title fights, including Jon Jones defending his light heavyweight championship
and the first ever flyweight title fight.
Let's go get a fan's perspective outside.
Well, I got the tickets afterwards when I heard Vitor Belfort was fighting. Biggest fan, 15 years, been watching him fight. I came to see him knock out Jon Jones tonight.
I don't know, Jon Jones all day, I think. Vitor could charge him in 30 seconds and clip him with a hook, but outside of that, I don't think he has a shot.
How's Jon Jones going to win the fight?
Spinning back elbow.
He's probably... Joseph Benavidez is going to take it. I think he's going to be the first ever flyweight champion.
Very excited for that. Benavidez is a scrappy guy, as is Demetrius Johnson. I don't know, it's going to be like 2 hummingbirds just kind of fighting in a cage, man. I'm looking forward to that one. Probably going to be the fight of the night right there.
It's going to go distance. I'll bet on that one.
So now I'm with Centennial's own UFC and MMA analyst, Ryan Young. Ryan, what do you think about the cancellation in Las Vegas, and how much does it benefit the card in Toronto tonight?
Well, I mean, obviously a lot of negative press came out of it, and for the fans in Las Vegas, it's a bummer for them, but the Toronto fans profited huge. I mean, this card was going to go ahead without Jon Jones on the card, and he's one of the biggest draws the company has, so the Toronto market really got lucky on this one.
And what did you think about Jon Jones denying the fight with Chael Sonnen in Las Vegas?
It's an interesting situation. I mean, a lot of fighters have come out and said that they would have taken the fight, but to be honest, they're not in the position that Jon Jones is in right now. He just signed a big deal. Chael Sonnen's a hard guy to prepare for, and it sucks for the fans, but at the end of the day, it's an individual sport, and he's got to think about what's best for him.
What do you think about the flyweight? Who's going to win, and how?
Yeah, I mean, this is a great fight. It's history. First ever champion in UFC history at the 125-pound division. And it's a really close fight. Both guys match up really well. Benavidez has a little bit more power. Johnson known for his speed. I think it's going to go the distance. It should be electrifying. Johnson will probably come on strong towards the end of it, but I think Benavidez might land a couple takedowns in the early going, land some big shots, and it'll be enough to put him ahead on the judges' scorecards.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ryan. Ryan's going to head inside and write a live event recap for the Toronto Observer website. You can check out his work online. I'm Carson Mundy, CSTV.
Wax on, wax off, the immortal words of Master Miyagi sure helped the Karate Kid in 1984. In 2012, we looked to Ryan Young for martial arts advice. How you doing today, Ryan?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me.
Good, good. One burning question that I have to ask you, Ryan. What is the situation going on with Jon Jones and Dana White after UFC 152?
Well, a lot of the pre-fight hype coming to the Saturday night show was the cancellation of UFC 151. But most people thought that if Jon Jones came out and put on a great performance that, people would start to forget about it. And Saturday night, he went out. There was a tense moment in the first round, but he proved dominant once again, emerged victorious, showed his warrior spirit, and I think he's up there with the likes of George St. Pierre and Anderson Silva now.
And do you actually see that fight maybe happening in 2012?
George St. Pierre and Anderson Silva, if they can get through their next opponents, I don't see any obstacles in the way.
Sure. And what upcoming Canadians maybe catch your eye in 2012?
Well, I mean, the much anticipated return of George St. Pierre, Montreal Bell Center, November 17th. It's going to be great.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, Ryan. Best of luck in this year, eh?
Thanks for having me.
Coming up after this break, we pay some bills. And we are looking to the Detroit Eatery as Detroit sports fans invade the Greek town. Also, let's talk about a charity that sheds light on spinal cord injuries. Come back soon, folks.
Man, it's great to be back in school. Coming here to Centennial College, I have amazing professors who are preparing me for a new career in whatever I want. Also, though, I get to meet new people.
Nice. How was your weekend? It was good. Went out with some people from class, the usual.
Excited for school?
Yeah, I can't wait to try out for some intramural teams and, meet some new people.
What I'm really excited about is meeting people.
Trust X for meeting new people. Welcome back, Centennialites, or should I say Centennialists?
No, it's Centalians.
Well, you know, we can agree to disagree. Welcome back regardless.
The NFL has a yearly contest for displaced fans away from their favorite team city. A trip to the Detroit Eatery in East York would likely win the contest for the owners. Take one step inside, and one would think they were actually in Motown and not in a cozy establishment on the Danforth.
The Detroit Eatery has been a staple in East York since 1945. It may also be the greatest Red Wings-themed restaurant outside of Hockeytown.
Detroit fans, they come from as far as Detroit to come watch our games as the series goes on. Like back in 2009, for example, we got all the way to the finals in Game 7, and this place was packed. I mean, I was a customer at the time. I wasn't actually working here, but it was like standing room
The walls
only.
of the diner have been decorated in Detroit sports memorabilia by owner Chris Gutierrez, who grew up a die-hard Wings fan.
Oh, all kinds of people from Detroit, always. They're intrigued. This is Detroit, why the name, blah, blah, blah. I wish I could take credit for that, but we bought it. The name's been around, this place has been around for over 65 years, it's the same name. So we inherited the name and we love it.
Longtime patron Thomas Catania enjoys informing Red Wings fans of the Motor City-themed restaurant found right here in his hometown.
There's a few people I knew through the Gardens, and I later worked at the Air Canada Centre. When I told them about this place, they loved it. In fact, there's a friend of mine that every time he comes into town, we have to stop off at the Detroit Eatery.
Growing up a Red Wings fan, Spackman has had the good fortune of being able to meet a few of his childhood heroes.
And you never know who was going to drop by. I mean, Paul Coffey dropped by during the playoffs one year, and Chris Draper brought the Stanley Cup. And so we've had a lot of players here, a lot of fans come in, and you know, it doesn't really matter because we're in Toronto. It's just a matter of if you like hockey or not. That's what we're here for.
Strength. Dealing with a spinal cord injury.
What's the count, man?
Coming back here. We're on.
It takes tremendous courage and strength to deal with a spinal cord injury. The individuals in the following video prove that nothing can hold you back if you have that strength inside of you.
Hundreds gathered at Lyndhurst Centre in Toronto to support the city's 17th Wheelchair Relay Challenge. Age wasn't a factor, as both the young and the old took to the track in hopes of raising money for people with spinal cord injuries.
I learned that basically it really hurts your arms to use your arms all day to get around.
There are 600 new spinal cord injuries every year in the province. That's more than one a day, and the causes vary from person to person. Ultimately, the event was about more than just reaching the finish line. The essence of it all was to spread awareness of the abilities of people with spinal cord injuries. Alima Hotaki, reporting for Centennial College Sports.
Wow. That's some pretty inspirational stuff.
I do agree. Dane, for Dane Baubeck, I'm Tom Rominski. Thanks for watching. See you next week, guys.